cheese?
It was turkey. Oh.
The only way to start a broadcast.
Hello, everyone. I am viciously hungry.
Shredded cheese.
I'm so hungry I can eat a sandwich from Arby's.
I love Arby's.
That's what I'm eating. I went to Arby's and they said, "We're sorry, but we're out of roast beef."
Oh, dear Lord.
That's like McDonald's saying we're out of fries. Out of roast?
Yeah.
Right.
That's like your main thing.
So hello, everyone. Okay. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's got some cool plans for the weekend, for the holiday. Hopefully you all are not safe. Hopefully you all blow some limbs off. Because we love you people.
Yes.
People.
While playing I Love It Loud. Yes.
Rocking in the USA as fireworks are going off.
Yes.
Oh.
Nothing else I'd rather say.
Is Javier in here
yet? Chat's showing one, but it could be me because I'm in the chat.
Okay. Javier, I am holding Javier's package.
Ooh.
Just arrived today.
Ooh, I'm really
fancy.
Oddly, his package is white, though. What's up, people? Where you at?
Where you is?
Well, anywho, we're here to do the Ace Frehley 12 Picks record, which is essentially another greatest hits, but obviously for Ace. Basically a mixture, 6 studio tracks, 6 live tracks. Pretty cool. Kind of didn't have to listen to a lot of these songs since we kind of recently already heard them, so it kind of saved a little time on the whole listen there. I gotta say though, regardless of that,
I needed a refresher.
I gotta say though, regardless of that though, It felt a bit difficult to rank these because there's so many good songs. I mean, it's a greatest hits, but it's like it felt a little harder to rank these for some reason.
Huh. Yeah, this was kind of an interesting listen. I mean, no, this was pretty standard, I think, for Ace for me. I mean,
still missing a few songs, I thought, but you know, a pretty good eclectic mix.
Nice.
Wow. Steve has just sent us his picks. He's getting ready to jam with his band, so he will not be joining us. Cool.
Get those put in here.
Let's take a nap for this podcast.
That's why I'm trying not to like come down, or I will be ready for a nap after being out in that heat.
You're right.
Oh man, I am like,
Oh I went out and mowed the grass yesterday to get it ready for Saturday, and came in and ate lunch, and then next thing I know, I passed out on the couch.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I've only opened the door just to let Pip out a few times, and the heat from that just about knocked me out. Excuse me.
It's like as soon as you open the door,
and it's supposed to stay that way. Yes, as soon as it's supposed to stay that way all next week too.
Welcome to summer. This has to be a first for any podcast. One of the hosts is laying in bed on camera.
I'm on the couch. Dude, I gotta tell you, being pregnant is not a good experience for me so far. Because I am exhausted all the time, and I don't do anything.
All right, got theirs put in there. Oh, maybe. There we go.
Yes, look at the white sauce on my lips.
You sounded like Paul when you said that.
Look at me.
Ew.
Geez, I just about mixed Steve's last place with his first place. That would have been a little weird.
Depends on what his first place is.
Wasn't it Trouble Walking, I believe?
Indeed. I got my grid lines confused, but I fixed it.
All right, I'll postpone eating for now. So I still don't know if anyone's really in here yet, but we got a lot to talk about. So let's get rolling.
Talk.
Talking about chest hair. Talking about crazy cool medallions. So interesting.
So we finally started. Oh, go ahead.
We just lost Savannah.
Oops. Everything's so delayed here. I imagine we're going to do a whole lot of talking over each other by accident.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Well, we've lost Savannah for the moment.
I'm going to stop watching this on my phone. Maybe that'll free up some internet space.
Anyway, for those that may not have noticed, went on Kiss Online yesterday just for the hell of it. Happened to look and was checking out the tour dates and noticed that there are, quite a handful of the dates that do say, new date to be announced and all that. Well, our local show for the Nutter Center here in Dayton, which is in September, is still listed as a go, along with some of the other dates. So kind of kind of confusing why some of them are listed as new date to be announced, and then some of them are listed as, as originally scheduled. So, I mean, we're at the point now that we're probably about 2 months away.
Did anybody else
from? Huh?
Did anybody else lose connection just now? I completely lost my.
No, I mean, we lost you, and that's about it.
Stupid thing.
Yeah, it's stupid. But anyway, we're about 2 months out from when our show is supposed to happen, and as of now, it's still listed as if it's going to happen. So I would hope that they would make an announcement at least by August if something is going to change and it doesn't take place. But if not, then it's like, holy crap, better get on the ball and get some tickets.
Right.
So I just wanted to throw that in there. So what were you going to say?
Well, we finally got into round 2 of our Every Kiss Song tournament.
Yes, a lot of hard decisions right off the bat, like we pretty much have been saying that, predicted that. And again, there were some songs that I'm like, that one, I didn't like Danger Us. I'm like, really? That I don't remember that winning and going through, but
right. I think we did a whole lot of talking last week about how none of the Sonic Boom songs moved on, but here it is. So it totally missed that. And Danger Us is one of my favorites from Sonic Boom. So yeah, I was extremely surprised to see it.
Wow. So I guess this is kind of the first time we don't have poll results to talk about, just what the new ones are for round 2 to kick off round 2.
Right. So Lick It Up did win our second chance. So that is back at the end of the bracket. That's the only real result there is to talk about. So we've got 6 new matches posted on our page. You can go vote on right now. These are also posted in the group Kiss Army Ohio. So if anybody is here and watching this from Kiss Army Ohio, hey, hi. And thank you. All right, so the 6 that we've posted this week, we've got Unholy versus Coming Home was match number 1, which is already just a kick right in the gut.
Thankfully, it's not the unplugged version of Coming Home.
Oh yeah,
I wish it.
Yeah, that would be an impossible choice right there. We also posted Spit versus And on the 8th Day.
Spit.
Yeah. We got Rocket Ride versus Hard Luck Woman. Two Timer versus Hard Times. I've Had Enough Into the Fire versus Danger Us. And All Hell's Breaking Loose versus Reason to Live.
Yeah. See, like we said, guys, as hard as it is, there's going to be a lot of good songs getting knocked out already. So
yeah,
that's
yes,
just the nature of the beast.
That it is. I'm very curious to see which way some of these go.
Watch Dangerous be I've Had Enough and be like this surprise underdog that goes like to the final like 16 or something.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. Like I said, that's one of my favorites from Sonic Boom, although I think in this case I voted against it because I've Had Enough is one of my favorites from Animalize, so
absolutely
even that one was kind of a tough choice.
All right. Do we have any comments to share?
I have been trying to load that page for the last 20 minutes. See if I can get on it here again.
I still don't know if we have anybody watching or not. I mean, being that it's a holiday weekend, I almost don't blame people for not sitting here.
Right. What do we got?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we do.
Oh.
All right. Our first comment is from Donald Mitchell, and he has given us a link to sweetiegirls.online. So probably go check that out. That's definitely not spam.
Oh, that returns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your input.
I'm going to jump off the podcast here real quick and go check out this website.
RIP to your computer.
You're right. This is why our internet's acting so slow.
Not on me.
We've got a comment here from Thomas Hubner, who says, Killers is the only best of I love because the 4 new songs are so great. But I will buy the Kiss World vinyl someday. Surprised to have a career-spanning compilation, not only the same old hits. By the way, Thomas Hubner is my YouTube smartphone app, same person as Rain in Adamstown. Hey, buddy.
What is up?
Yeah. Good to hear from you again. I wasn't expecting the name change. That's awesome.
Definitely, man. Yeah. Sorry we've been, like we said, we've been silent on the YouTube side of things for a while, but now thankfully it's all figured out. And glad to see you back.
Yes.
Yeah, Kiss World is a really cool compilation. I do like how it's laid out, how it does cover more of the whole career than just random bits and pieces of it. Yeah, it is a good one, but I don't know, just something about Greatest Kiss has always kind of held that special spot for me, I guess.
Nice.
You know what I told Luke?
What?
I told him that we should do a compilation, competition. We should take 10 compilations and then rate them. Our personal from best to worst.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That'd be pretty cool.
Or maybe even put together our own ultimate compilation out of all the tracks that are on those compilations, if that, a little something extra to add to it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have a comment from Robbie Stars, who said, I'll rate this greatest hits an 8.5. Two Sides of the Coin is a questionable pick, even though I like the song. A better choice would have been Hard Times or to me, but it's still solid as hell for a greatest hits album. Sorry, I had some personal bias slip into the reading of that comment.
I'm going to hold off on our little announcement because I still don't know if we have anybody watching, and we'll just save it till the end and see if we have people by then.
Absolutely, yeah. Trying to jump over to the actual stream right now, and now it's not showing me any information at all. Well, stupid internet.
It's being a beast today.
Yeah.
Looking good on my end. Just the choppiness.
Right.
All right, well, let's go on and get into it then.
All right, so some album info here. 12 Picks is the greatest hits album by Ace Frehley. The live tracks, which are tracks 7 through 12, were recorded live at the Hammersmith Odeon in London, England on March 19th, 1988. However, this album was released April 8th, 1997. So interesting, as that is quite a bit after the reunion tour started.
Yeah.
I started thinking, are those live tracks probably the same stuff that's on that live video that they had put out?
It could be.
That's what I was wondering. I mean,
Definitely
pretty good recording overall. Not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious if this was kind of a last minute, I don't want to say cash grab, but they kind of wanted to remind people that everybody that was like, holy crap, reunion with the 4 original Kiss members. And so then these guys were kind of like, hey, Ace had some solo stuff too.
Or maybe he had one last album to fulfill for his contract, and that's just something they threw together to fulfill the contract since the reunion thing was happening. And
yeah,
he obviously wasn't going to be dealing with that label anymore at the time.
Right. Yeah, that definitely could be, since the half studio, half live thing does feel a bit like a throw together.
Yeah. And there wasn't any new tracks or anything, and kind of like back when we did the Live Plus one or whatever it is, how it had at least like 2 extra new studio tracks at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Which of course one of them is on this album.
Right. Yeah. Yes, I find it interesting too that apparently the Japanese version of this CD actually has 13 tracks instead of 12, which kind of defeats the purpose of the title of the album. Yes, it was a live version of Calling to You.
Do you guys think that like the people that are overseas and stuff, like when they that are popular over there, that get their start over there, that when they release stuff here, they put bonus content here that their own places do not get?
I don't know. It's almost like the opposite. Like they treat the foreign customers better than the Americans, because it's almost like they show them more support over there. So they're like, screw you guys. We're going to give these guys all the cool bonus stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you was going to say the Japanese version has like 35 tracks or something. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, not at all. Yes.
This album
also did have only 12, like this album title suggests.
What is it called?
Have quite
Japan?
a
Is it
wide
still called
range.
12 Picks?
I don't know.
It's called 12 Yen.
Yeah.
12 Yen.
So we're kind of featuring like the full Frehley's Comet lineup here throughout the whole thing. Of course, we've got Ace on all of the songs. We've got Todd Howarth on most of the songs, everything but 4 and 5, tracks 4 and 5. John Regan played bass on all the songs. We've got Anton Fig playing drums on tracks 1, 2, 4, and 6. Richie Scarlett playing rhythm guitar on tracks 4 and 5. We've got Jamie Oldacre, who plays the drums on track 3 and also all the live tracks. And then we've got Sandy Slavin, one of those two, who plays drums on track 5. So, yeah, kind of the full spectrum of Frehley's Comet musicians there.
That's a damn shame that only 4 songs that Anton plays on.
Very, very, very shame. Yeah.
Wish he would have played on all
shame
of them.
in more than one way. Yes.
So is that it?
Yep. No singles or Billboard. Yeah, no singles or Billboard information at all on this.
Okay. All right. So kicking off the tracks. So again, here these first 6 tracks are going to be all the actual studio cuts from the albums. So first up, we start right off with "Into the Night," and this one is my number 3. Again, I just really like this song. I like the video. To kind of repeat things that I said back when we did the Frehley's Coming album. One of the things I love the most is during the lyrics when he says, in the night, and Anton's doing the kick drum right along with that pattern. I don't know why, but it's just like I love that. It always catches me every time I hear it. Yeah, just a cool song. It's another one of those like kind of it always kind of reminds me of like that gritty. I think we talked about it last week. That made up New York scene that you see in 80s movies. Like this song kind of reminds me of that same type of look and feel as well. Yeah, just such a cool song. Love it.
Yeah, this was my number 1 actually. It's just a really good song to like start off the album with. I mean, it just has a really great tempo for it being the opening, and then, but I mean, it's kind of laid back, but it still has that energy. And I don't mind Ace's vocals in this song. Like, I actually really enjoyed it. I like that constant bass line that's going, and then that solo. I mean, I just really love that solo. It helped to just capture the mood for the song just almost perfectly. So yeah, number 1 for me.
Hey, there's Javier. What's up,
Hi,
man?
Javier.
Yo.
I'm holding your package. It was here when I got home. I have not had a chance to open it yet.
Nice. Into the Night was my number 3 as well. Yeah, not gonna lie, I kind of forgot how cool this song's riff was. It's been a minute now since we've listened to this one, but yeah, definitely agree. It was a great way to start the album, and nice Todd Howard solo in there. It's interesting that the very first song on the album doesn't have an lead, but Todd hits the nail on the head.
Yes.
Absolutely. Next up, we have "Words Are Not Enough." This is one of the bonus tracks from that live album that we were just talking about. This one is my number 8. Open it on air, I will, Javier. But yes, number 8 here for me. Looks like Luke. Hello? You there? You there?
Well, what happened?
Did he disappear?
Well, Luke had froze.
Are you there?
I hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
It's delayed like hell again.
Oh, the lag this time it's so bad.
Yeah, bear with us, guys. Having connection issues on their end, so there is a pretty crappy delay.
Yes.
Well, let's see if we can trudge through this. Anyway, "Words Are Not Enough," again, my number 8, one of the bonus tracks from that live album. I forgot, this one is cool. It's another one that I kind of wished was on, like, maybe Second Sighting, just to kind of help that album out. Because unfortunately, as, we talked about with that album, there just wasn't anything too catchy on there, and something like this, I felt like it would have suited that album better had they just kind of held on to it and put it on there instead. But but regardless of that, I mean, yeah, it's another just really cool, catchy song. Um, it's another one that I feel like is kind of under the radar and doesn't get as much attention because it's basically just a thrown in song on a live album. So I feel like had it been on an actual full length album, it may get more attention these days than what I feel like it does. It's just one of those Ace songs that I feel like you never hear anyone talk about.
Yeah, definitely. This is my number 2. It kind of gives me an 80s like Back to the Future kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you turn the bass to it way up, like you would feel that bass drum like just hit you like right in the chest. And the keyboard added something to the song, but I can't pinpoint exactly what it added. I can't determine if I liked them or if they just sounded weird. Like I can't figure it out. Like I have to listen to it more to try to figure out what it is about them that I either really really like or I don't really like that much. Like I can't decide which one. I'm on the fence about it right now. But yeah, this was my number 2.
Nice. This was number 4 for me, and yeah, hearing this for the second time ever, it occurred to me this totally could have been on like an alternate universe Kiss '80s album where Ace hadn't ever left the band. Something like Crazy Nights or
Yeah.
Hot in the Shade. This seems like the type of thing that would have been on this album. It would have been Ace's contribution to a later Kiss album.
That's a good point. It almost, now that you say stuff like that, it almost sounds like it could have possibly fit on even like Unmasked, for that matter.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Javier says, I had to get a webcam so my son could use it for school. Possibly, I would say add me now, but I do not have this CD. I tried to look for it on YouTube, but could not find it. Oh, that sucks, man. I would have been glad to send you a link, man. I actually had to send it to Luke and Steve. So, all good, man.
Yep.
We got the other what is it, Loaded Deck next week, and then we still have an announcement to make that we're going to save for the end of this, so you'll probably enjoy hearing that once we get to that. Okay.
Yes.
So next up is Insane, and for me this was number 12, least favorite again. Coming off that Second Sighting album, this to me was the best song that album had to offer, and unfortunately it just still wasn't much to my ears. Like I said, I don't remember at this point how any of those songs sounded on that album, especially this one. It's unfortunate. It's like, we probably said it on that episode, but it's like I wanted to like this a lot, or that album, and especially this song, but again, it just did not stick to me.
Yeah, this was number 5 for me. I just am not a fan of that chorus. That chorus is it's really weirdly laid out, and it just is so choppy sounding. I wasn't a fan of it either. This is the kind of song. It's just kind of meh. Like it's not a bad song, but nothing really stands out about it either. It's just kind of a middle ground kind of song. So I was kind of bored with it. I was kind of done with it about a fourth of the way through it. I was like, okay, I got enough of this. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's number 5 for me.
Yeah, looking back, this was Insane got first place on our Second Sighting. I'm a little baffled by that now. I don't remember that at all.
I feel like that's just kind of like by default, because that was basically the big single off there, if you want to call it that. So it felt like it was one of those albums where that just kind of became everyone's default number one. And again, I don't even remember what I ranked it, or again, I don't anything on that album. I have no recollection now. I almost need to go back and watch that episode, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. This was my number 10. And what really kills it for me, and this is going to become a bit of a theme for the live versions, you can just tell that now we're hearing Jamie Oldacre on drums instead of Anton. Suddenly the drum parts, they're wildly simplified and they lack energy, and it just it makes the song fall flat on its face.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically taking the words out of my mouth from once we get to those live tracks too. I mean,
yep.
It was like thinking the exact same type of thing. All right, next is Hide Your Heart, of course, from the Trouble Walking album. This one came in at number 10 for me this time. Again, just like I said then, I don't dislike this version. I enjoy it, but it obviously doesn't hold a candle to the Bonnie Tyler version, not the Kiss version. But being that it's in this kind of collection with all these other heavy hitting songs, it just falls shorter on this time than what it did when listening to that Trouble Walking album as a whole. So number 10 this time.
Yeah, this one is my number 12, just like it was in last place the last time I reviewed it. I don't have much to say about it, just because I made my feelings about it pretty known the last time I reviewed it, and it's just a good old poop of a cover. Yeah.
Javier asked, "Are these re-recorded?" No, Javier, these are literally all just the album tracks, and then the last 6 songs are all live tracks. So it's literally basically just the greatest hits, and then the other half again being live versions.
Yeah, it's almost like 2 EPs, one of like a greatest hits EP and then a live EP.
Right, and I guess for some of these songs you could say that the plus is also that there's been some remastering, but other than that, that's about as far as they've went with it.
For sure. This Hide Your Heart 12 for me also. As soon as it started, it was just like, I feel like I would like this song if the Kiss version didn't exist. That's what it comes down to. It's still a good song, even with Ace doing his thing on it, but knowing how Paul Stanley sang this, it just absolutely destroys any chance that I would like Ace's voice on it. And then same thing with Bruce's guitar work. Bruce Kulick did such an excellent job with all the leads on this, and Ace's style just doesn't hit me the same way Bruce's did. So it immediately has a 0% chance. You know what I mean?
I do have to agree when it comes to this song. So
yeah.
Next up, again, sticking with the same album and the title track, we have Trouble Walking, number 6 for me this time. I mean, again, love this song. Just it's got that cool groove to it. Like I said, when I was younger, I used to think that this song was about him making fun of himself, tripping and falling on the stage and everything. It's cool. But again, in this setting, because mainly a lot of these live versions that we're getting ready to get to, I just felt like we're that much stronger in this particular case. So, but Trouble Walking, not taking anything away from it whatsoever. So it's still a great track.
Yep. This was number 3 for me. It's so much better than the last one. Like, they helped bring it back up. The layered vocals, I love the layered vocals in the chorus. That's my favorite part of the whole song. Like, it's so cool. And then it has a great tempo. It's very upbeat. And then that cowbell, man. I love that cowbell. It's so awesome. So, number 3 for me.
Yeah, number 2 for me on this one. Super catchy chorus. And I'm pretty sure I said this when we did the Trouble Walking album too, but Ace really knocked it out of the park singing this one as well. I think this might be hands down my favorite Ace vocal, which is saying something as I notoriously dislike his voice. But this one, it fits it great. Now, interestingly, and I don't remember if we talked about this last time, I'm not 100% sure that the main guitar solo was actually Ace. Now, the solos behind the last choruses, definitely him. But the main solo, it almost sounds like someone else doing like AC style riffs. And I can't decide if he was also knocking it out of the park on guitar that day, or if maybe a different guitarist. I don't know if Todd Howarth was on this. Actually, I think it was Richie Scarlett again on Trouble Walking. Just thought it would be funny if he did some Ace style leads. It doesn't quite sound like Ace to me.
Because I was getting ready to say the same thing. Like, is it Todd? But I think you're right. It was Richie. So maybe it's Richie doing those, and then Ace does the last ones or something.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So one more of the studio versions, and then we go into all the live tracks. So we have Rock Soldiers, number 2 here. Again, just love this song to death. And what really made me love this version, well, again, it's not really a different version, but again, I mentioned a little bit ago, remastering. Like, it just made it sound that much more powerful and present. Something about the mix on the Frehley's Comet, like, it's cool, but it's kind of a little quiet to an extent. But on this one, it's like it's just there. It's in your face. Yeah, to quote another Ace song. Yeah, this one, not much more needs to be said than what we've said before.
Yeah, you got me, Javier. You got me.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, this is number 4 for me this time. I feel like it was a lot stronger on the Frehley's Comet album, and I just felt like it kind of was falling flat here in this particular, list of songs.
Like how far down they placed it.
Right, yeah, and it's like, I don't know, the talking when Ace is mostly talking instead of singing in this one, and it just, for some reason, it was throwing it off for me this time. I don't know, because I feel like in the Frehley's Comet album it was a lot stronger than it was here, and I think it was just compared to some of the other songs that are a little bit stronger and better. I think that's why it kind of felt not as strong for me. But still, yeah, I mean, it's a great song. It'll get you pumping. It's a great song. So yeah, it still made it up to number 4 for me for sure.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes a bigger impact as an opening track than being pushed down to track number 6. But but it's just that whole the whole story about what the stuff he went through, and of course that the line about the devil and playing without an ace, and that stuff like that's just classic. I mean,
yeah.
I hadn't really thought about it in that context, but yeah, I remember now how cool it is that the first Frehley's got like his first post Kiss thing, and it's this song is the first thing, and that is really cool. It's so it fits,
Yeah, that little marching snare coming in, like you don't expect that. on an Ace Frehley album, especially to open it up.
Yeah. Even here, actually, this is my number one for this album. This is an excellent attempt at an '80s anthem for Ace. You know, like his personal rock and roll all night, almost. I wouldn't put this above too many Kiss songs, I think, but I gotta say, this song should have been more popular when it came out than it was.
Yeah.
Personal favorite bit, honestly, is the "he's gonna play without an ace in his deck" line, and I'm not usually even into that sort of thing in songs, but right there, it just absolutely fit right where it was.
Yeah, I mean it's right up there with, you know, my name's a number. It's on a piece of plastic film. It's like perfect genius lyrics for Ace.
Right. Or what was the Kevin Covalt version of that lyric? Do you remember?
Oh God, no, I don't.
It's probably good you put that in the back of your brain.
Oh Lord, yeah. Maybe I should pop one of those in. That's what we should do a live reaction to.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh no.
Oh. You want to see all three of us being Simon Cowell? That's exactly what you should do.
That's exactly what will happen.
Oh man.
All right, so now we move into the live tracks here. We have, first up is Rip It Out. So again, kind of a cool mix here, throwing in, you know, speaking of opening tracks, the opening track from the 78 solo. This one's number 7 for me. And again, to repeat what we said earlier, when it comes to all these live tracks, yes, what we said about Jamie, what's his name, I'm the biggest fan of his drumming on all these tracks, especially some of the Kiss tracks, and much rather it had been, you know, Anton on these live tracks, but unfortunately it's not. So that had a lot to do with the way I ranked a lot of these when it came down to the drumming. So with Rip It Out, yeah, I mean, number 7, like I said, it was probably number 1 when we did the solo album, but in this case, nah, the drums don't have the power. But other than that, again, like, I thought the actual recording and mix of this live stuff didn't sound too bad, especially for, you know, the time that it was recorded in, and you know, things were, you know, I'm sure it was recorded direct to like tape or something back then. You know, they didn't really have Pro Tools or anything to record it directly into yet. So, I mean, I will say that for it, but yeah, the drums just killed me too much, and I'm sitting there waiting for those, you know, certain signature fills and things like that, and they just weren't hitting. Damn you, Jamie!
Yeah,
I know it.
Yeah, this was number 9 for me, and the drums are so loud. Like, they overroll like most of what is happening with the rest of the song, which makes it hard to focus on anything else, and they weren't good. And then he does not sound like he's very experienced, and he is, which is the stupid thing. Like, I could not focus on anything else. I was like, I can't hear anything else because I can't focus on anything but these loud drums that I'd like.
Because I mean, he came from the Clapton band, because you know, Ace even says that on, I forget what song now, but, and to me that right there is the problem, because I'm not saying Eric Clapton is the problem. No, it's that style of music. I mean, you're coming from a more laid back kind of bluesy, you know, jazz, even to a tiny extent, some jazz here and there, but, and then you're coming in Ace Frehley, you know, hard rock, you know,
and it just does not match.
Bad boy rock, and, you know, his style just did not fit that. And I kind of felt like Ace went with the guy more because of the name, because that's why he made no bones about mentioning that, hey, he's from the Clapton band.
Right. Yeah. He was definitely not on his game in this.
No.
Yeah.
he fits about as well as that Kenny, what's his name, that took Keith Moon place in the Who. He fit about as well doing that stuff.
Yeah, this was also my number 7, and geez, as soon as it came on, I was like, "What? Who mixed this?" The drums were so freaking loud, and and that, just like she said, I couldn't focus on hardly anything else about these songs just because of how loud those drums were, and then on top of being super loud, he's changing bits, and that's fine, except they weren't for the better most of the time. 99% of the time. In this one specifically, it was the chorus where he would follow the "rip it out" with cymbal crashes, and whereas to me that seems like it would be a good idea on paper, in execution it felt like it interrupted the drum beat, and nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the drums need to kind of shut up like they do on the album there, and it's about that riff. Let that riff stand out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then they mesh this one. Goes right into the next track here with Breakout. Again, this was my number 4. Again, to keep harping on Jamie, but as weak as the drum performance was, it's still, again, just like Rock Soldier, such a solid song. It was listenable enough to where it didn't ruin it that bad to where it's still gotten my number 4. So, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. But hey, it's Breakout, and it was pretty cut and dry version, pretty much. As far as I remember, they didn't really add anything like special or fancy that's not on the studio track. So,
right,
just less impressive drumming.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was number 7 for me, and it was cool that they went right into it. Like the transition was smooth, which surprised me because, like I said, he's just mediocre when it comes to this style of drumming at best. And so, like, when it smoothly transitioned, I was like, hey, that was pretty cool. But again, this song is just kind of a middle ground kind of song, and I don't think it's like that on the album that it's from. It was just because of this version. You know what I mean? Like, it just made it seem not exciting. And I know it is an exciting song, but on here it was just, it just didn't catch me. I was like, nah, I'm ready for the next.
Believe me, when we did the album, we were comparing Anton to what Eric Carr did on Car Jam.
It was so much better on the album.
But Anton still, was very, neck to neck with Eric, though, in my opinion. It wasn't as far-fetched as,
right.
Why did they even do this? It wasn't one of those kind of things.
But, right.
I always wish they would have used that Scooby-Doo sound effect on the live version like they did on the record.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I think Anton and Eric were right up skill level, and then Anton just had a different feel. So at least it was still respectable, even though it was different than what Eric did, because you can still tell, oh, well, this is a really talented drummer who just did something a little bit different. Yeah, so on here, Breakout number 6 for me, higher up because, like you said, it is a great song and it is listenable. But yeah, it couldn't possibly break into the top 5 for me, just because when I hear Breakout or Car Jam, either way, it makes me think of Eric Carr, which obviously is drumming. So this seems like such a drum-driven song, which made it especially painful. And I hate harping on Jamie, but man, it just killed it. It just killed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know Anton's whole backstory and his beginnings, but just from my ears, I could tell that Anton is a more educated drummer, let's say, versus Eric in the terms of he probably had a lot of schooling and lessons. And Eric is more of that raw, kind of like me, and to an extent where we were shown kind of the basics of the basics, but then we just kind of took off and just picked it up on our own, and you could kind of tell the difference in each of their style and the way they approach that song. To my ears, at least, I could be completely wrong and have it backwards for all I know.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree that you're right. I agree you got it
right.
backwards.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up, Cold Gin, number 9. What he was doing, Jamie, during the lyrics, the verses, I don't know, but I did not like it. He was trying to add like a little flair, to the verses instead of how it is, normally played by every other drummer that's ever played Cold Gin. Yeah, and that killed it because again, here's a Kiss classic, let alone basically. Again, you can argue and say this might be the greatest song Ace ever wrote, but then just this, this version of it, I guess, it just lacks so much, and it just kind of lost me, to be honest.
Yeah, this was number 10 for me, and I put in here that I'm not sure exactly what to say about it, but I talked to Luke about it while we were listening to it. And it's not the worst cover I've ever heard, but I mean, I would prefer not to have to ever hear it again.
Yeah.
And like what you were saying with the drumming and the weird things he was doing, it was changing it and it was just making it weird. And then Ace and Gene are just so different in their vocal styles, and Ace singing it threw me off. I was like, I can't, like, because it wasn't bad, but it sounded bad to me because Gene just has such a distinct way of singing it. You know what I mean? And it was like, Ace didn't do a bad job, but like he did because he's not Gene. You know what I mean? So I was like, like it's just like and then you add that drumming in, and I'm like, okay, I can't. Like, I don't want to hear this ever again in my life.
Right.
Yeah, number 8 for me. Why didn't the whole band go nuts on that first chord? It made it kind of feel like a mistake. He got the crowd going with the, what? Cold Gin, what? Cold Gin, and then he goes Cold Gin, and then Ace hits that big old chord, and he just strums the crap out of it. And nobody else is doing anything. It made it feel kind of like a mistake. I don't get it. But yeah, that verse thing that Jamie did too, that caught me. The original song was not thrilled by it. I didn't hate it at first, strangely, but then what he did different in the chorus I didn't like, and then he did that same change where it's not a tempo change, but it's a feel change to the slower. He did the same thing in the verses of Shock Me, and it was like, can't you think of anything different? I mean,
right.
If you have to change it, you're going to just change it to the same thing, Mm-hmm. Come on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Speaking of that, we go into Shock Me next. This actually has ended up being my number 1, solely just basically off of Ace's solo. It was cool to hear, a whole entirely different solo from what you're used to hearing on Alive 2 or, however many of the, old bootlegs that you've watched or listened to. It's kind of cool to hear a basically whole different version of the solo that comes with it. But yeah, 100% agree with what you were saying about Jamie. It's like he was practically doing the same exact thing, and it's like, don't try to, don't try to shine it up and sort of show off to try to make a point as to why you're in the band when you can't even really, nail it that well. Let's put it that way. Just stick to the record, man. That's what it always comes down to. Don't try to flash it up. It's not really your room to flash it up. I mean, let the guys that originally played it flash it up if they really want to.
Right. Well, and you got to look at it too as the fact that it's not his style of drumming, and then he's also trying to do his own thing, and it's like no, like
I mean,
just do the song.
my God, the freaking drum intro was worse than that damn on the spacewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, how can you not even get that down?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, this was number 8 for me, and Todd singing those background vocals. They were so high, like it was when he started to sing, I was like, "Why? Why are you so high? Like, just tone it down, just a little." And it stuck out. Like, I mean, you could like it stuck out like a sore thumb, kind of stuck out. And then I don't know if it was the sound guy at that show that just could not mix his instruments well together, or if there was some other editing done, but then those drums are so loud, and then Todd's loud background vocals. It was the only thing that you could focus on until it got to the ear deafening solo. And then that, I mean, I thought it was cool, the solo, but I just feel like it went on for so long. Like, I was like, okay, it's supposed to be a solo. Like, like it just like I could have done without it being that long, because it just after a while I was like, okay, like I'm getting worn out of this. Like, it was cool, but I wish it would have been like a separate thing, almost like like how they do it in Kiss, like where Eric has a solo and then Gene has a solo, and then you know what I mean, like that would have been cool. But it was just kind of, I felt like it was just kind of tacked on to the end of this, you know what I mean. I wish it kind of would have been its own separate thing. I think that would have made it a little bit cooler.
I mean it is essentially the way they always did it in Kiss, though. The same way he did it, same way.
Yeah.
The thing is we kind of got groomed and accustomed to the solo being the length that is in a live too, because they edited it obviously, but in all realness, he was really doing solos that long on a nightly basis, and so it's kind of cool to hear the whole thing at the same time. But
I think it would have been cooler too, like seeing it live, because just hearing it as a live version, it kind of got a little. I was like, okay, I'm done now. But I think seeing it live would have been better. You know what I mean? Like that would have been more play it. Like
you're not seeing the smoke and everything else.
Right, exactly. Yes, you don't get all the effects and stuff you do when you get to see it. So I think that's why it kind of just drug on for me.
Right.
This was number 9 for me. My first note is, what even was that drum fill? Did this guy even listen to the original versions, or did he not care? Did Ace just tell him, man, this one starts with the drum fill, Curly? And I don't know. I also noted I really hate the way Todd is singing the background vocals, and it's strange for me to complain about Todd's singing,
Yeah, really.
But also, I noted someone gave Ace a whammy bar. That's new.
Wonder if he was playing that. What was that black and white guitar he was playing back around that time?
Yeah. Could have been.
Maybe it was that.
Yeah. But I was happy to hear a couple of different parts in this solo. I still was a bit disappointed that more of it wasn't different, though. There were still a lot of the same pieces he was doing more than 10 years earlier with Kiss. And it brings to mind that Paul voiceover in one of those documentaries where he says, we were growing and Ace wasn't. He was just staying the same. And here we are more than 10 years later, and he's still playing mostly the same solo.
Yeah. But even today, he still he might play a lot of the same thing, but that's what people want to hear, though.
Yeah.
It reminds me of someone else who just repeats himself over and over and over again for 20 years.
Yeah. Next we have Rocket Ride. Number 5 for me. And, always glad that Ace threw this one in on his solo stuff. It's too bad that Kiss never performed it live, even with the reunion and everything. I don't know why, but this one's always, it's a battle in my head whether I like Rocket Ride more than Shock Me or whatever, because to me they're both just perfect signature Ace songs. And it's like sometimes I lean towards Rocket Ride, sometimes I lean towards Shock Me, but this version, not too bad. Again, they changed some things versus the way it is on the record, so it kind of lost its feel at times, but other than that, I thought it was a pretty solid performance. Maybe almost the most solid out of all these based on as a full band. Probably next to Shock Me, I guess. But I mean, I didn't really hate anything about this one as much.
Yeah, this was number 6 for me, and I always like this song because it's so much fun to sing with. Like, I like to sing this song, and it's one of those songs that after you hear it, no matter how many other songs you hear after that, you're gonna have it stuck in your head for the next 10 years, kind of thing. It's just a really all around. It's just a really cool song. I like the solo a lot in it. The solo's really cool. It flows well with the tone. It doesn't overrule everything. It fits in really well, and then it just like this album, especially towards the end of it with the live stuff, it's just a huge roller coaster. You know what I mean? It keeps going up, and it's like, oh yeah, that was really good, and then it plummets. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, because this one, I really enjoyed this one. Like, this one didn't bother me near as bad as some of the other ones, and I'm like, why, why can't they all be more like this one, where it's like not so bad, like.
Yes. Javier, are you still in here? We've got some ties to break. I'm going to throw that out there now before we're done. This was also my number 5, and I agree. It was the most level of all of the live tracks, at least. But I noted, man, I hate to keep beating the horse, but I just can't help but focus on Jamie's drumming. And what was really occurring to me during this one is I can't imagine having to go from a drummer like Anton to Jamie. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
Oh, don't worry. We still got one song to go.
Right. Like, how
as far as beating up on him.
Right.
Yeah.
Those guys had to have all known, going from this intensely skilled drummer like Anton, who, if he changed anything, it was always mind-blowingly better, to this guy's changing all sorts of stuff. Most of the time it doesn't make sense. Almost all of them don't work in the song.
It's mind-blowingly worse.
Yeah. But
okay,
see,
good.
Anton's one of them drummers that I like, that he'll change up things live that he played himself on the record, but he'll do little things different live. Like, I love when drummers do that, because sometimes it gets, based on the song, sometimes it gets boring to play the exact same thing that's on the record. It's kind of cool to throw a little twists in here, and a lot of drummers do that. It's just, it always makes it cool.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Two quick ties for you to think about, Javier. Breakout or Rocket Ride. And then also Into the Night or Trouble Walking.
Ooh.
So you got
hard. Good luck, Javier, because that's difficult. Like, that's hard.
So what is it? 2 live tracks and then 2 studio tracks up against each other.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's funny
and then
how that
hopefully
worked
Deuce
out.
won't tie anything. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
gosh. Rocket riding into the night, he says.
Got it.
That's what I would have chose too.
Well, we come to the last track, which is Deuce. Again, kind of one of those that's like a little surprising that he threw this in, especially back in those times. This is my number 11, next to last. Again, sorry it's the last song, but Jamie, horrible. Cannot stand the way he plays. You know, one of the biggest things I love about Deuce is just that driving punch beat, the way it just flows, and it's got the way that kick drum just hits, and I just cannot even pretend to enjoy the way he's playing that song, and just a travesty in my opinion.
Yeah.
And again, a weird way to close the record, and I'm sure, I can almost guarantee you that he didn't close his set with Deuce, and
Surely
it
not.
almost would have made more sense to close the record out with something like, I don't know, Rocket Ride or Shock Me, or even one of those studio tracks. Kind of mix up the studio and live stuff. Instead of it all just being half this, half that. But yeah, just this is one version of Deuce. Again, I will never bother to listen to again if I can help it.
Yep, it was my number 11 as well. And my first thought was, what is this drummer doing? Like, has he ever listened to any of these songs before attempting to play them, or is he just winging it at this point? like it was unlistenably bad. Like, by the end, it completely fell apart. Like, when they do their little move thing, like with the guitar, like, there was no synchronicity to that at all. It was just, I can't even believe they put this on there. Like, and they didn't like chop it because like it was nothing but noise at the end because of like that drumming was just at the end. And I thought that Cold Gin was bad because of the drumming, but this definitely topped that. Like, I couldn't, I was like, what? Why? Like, why is this on there? Like, this drummer cannot play this song. Why did they stick this on here? Like, he ruined this song completely. Like, I was like, I can't. Done. I'm over it.
Yep, we're all in agreement here, perhaps for the first time ever.
Wow.
11.
Huh.
Yeah, my first note is this guy desperately needs to stop changing drum parts. Also, similar to what Savannah said about Ace's voice versus Gene's on Cold Gen, I definitely felt that way about this. Ace didn't necessarily do a bad job, but it just doesn't. It's not right with Ace singing. Another interesting bit here is how perfect to the original guitar solo Ace gets this. When we're only talking a little less than 10 years later, where Paul and Gene are claiming that Tommy had to teach Ace all his parts again because he didn't know them.
Yeah.
Now, given 8 years is a long time, but Ace is still getting, and maybe this solo was one of the only parts they didn't have to reteach him. I don't, we're making broad strokes of the brush here. But he's still getting it pretty good here, and it's not that far away from when they're claiming he couldn't do it at all. So, I don't know.
Right.
Another weird little thing, and I touched on this when we did Spacewalk 2. Not 100% sure why, but it's a pet peeve of mine. It really bothers me when people don't play that break riff, the one that's almost the same as the intro, right?
Yes.
You'd think Ace would know it isn't supposed to be the same thing twice. I don't know, and it was here, and I'm not sure if it was Todd Howard that played it or if it was Ace that played it, but whoever did it played it exactly the same thing as the intro again, and it's just one of those weird little nitpicky things that I know shouldn't bother me, but it does.
Yeah, I don't even think that the drummer was changing parts. I think he was just winging it and creating his own thing. Like, because I don't know if he's ever actually listened to the song ever in his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so just like he was just like, all right, well, I don't know this, so I'm just gonna go with it. Like, and he should.
It's like you just want to grab him by the collar and, have you heard that song before?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Have, like, headphones into his brain and be like, this is what it actually sounds like.
Jeez. All right, so overall, I give this thing. I give it a 5.
Thing.
I give the thing a 5. Again, with compilations like this, I don't feel like it should be ranked any higher than a 5. Not sure what it is that made me rank this higher than Greatest Kiss, but I don't know. There's just, I guess, since I've always kind of leaned more towards the A stuff with Kiss songs, and let alone mixing in a lot of those very strong solo tracks as well. I'd rather have this just been a compilation of all studio tracks, to be honest, instead of the live stuff. But for what it is, hey, I guess it could be worse. But yeah, so I just ended up giving it a 5.
Overall, I gave it a 2 just because them live versions and that drumming, man. I was enjoying the album until those live versions started. I wish that they had just had a drummer who could play the songs like even fairly.
Well, they did, and then they let it go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the mix, I wish that mix had been done better because I'm not sure if I would have been at this show, I'm not sure I would have stayed for the whole thing. Honestly, I don't think I could have gotten through it. It just sounded
That
like
almost definitely wasn't.
Yeah, it sounds like a generic mix of a bar show is what it sounds like. Like
That's essentially what he was playing back then too.
Yeah, the complete butchering of Deuce and then the awful cover of Hide Your Heart. It just had me done with ever wanting to hear it again. Like, like you said, I wish it would have just been a compilation of just studio versions of songs, or if they would have done live versions, it would have been like Anton Fig playing drums on them. Like, I think I would have enjoyed it so much. But yeah, no. I don't want to ever listen to this again.
We're redoing it next week.
Oh,
no, God.
I'm just going to repeat everything that I
What say you, Simon?
Yes. 3 for me. Yes, I totally agree. My first note in the overall was I would have much preferred just a regular old greatest hits from Ace. I might have even really enjoyed hearing some of the better songs from the last 3 Ace solo albums, because I'm not likely to pop those in anytime soon. Even though there are good songs on them, I would have liked to have heard some of those again,
Right.
specifically. Clearly, I wish they had left the live tracks off and just put more studio songs instead. Yeah, while it was interesting to have a peek into what an Ace solo show was like in 1988, it was disappointing, honestly, that it was almost all Kiss songs. I would have had more respect for it, even if it were just more Frehley's Comet or stuff from Trouble Walking. I would have preferred that. Of course, I guess this was before the release of Trouble Walking. This would have probably been second sighting tour still.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Right. I would have preferred stuff like that. And then, of course, Jamie's drumming, just downright distracting. A lot of Todd's background vocals were annoying and unnecessary, which feels strange to say because usually I really way prefer anything he sings. And I did really appreciate his vocals on Breakout. It was the only one he sang on this entire album, and it was kind of nice to hear him letting loose. But when he quote unquote let loose during the background vocals, it just Anyway, it was really nice to hear some of the Studio A solo songs again on side 1, except for the Ungodly Hide Your Heart, of course. And I'm reminded yet again how good Anton Fig is, and that just made me miss him so much more when it got to the live tracks. So having said that, seeing that most of next week's Ace compilation is it's kind of the same, half studio and half. I'm sure I want to listen to it.
Yeah, I was taking a glance here at when Ace did the Just for Fun tour a few years down the road in '93, and the drummer he had then was Steve Warner, and that
hopefully
dude,
it's better.
Yeah, it is. I've got a video of one of the shows on that tour, and I enjoyed it because the drummer actually does play the stuff pretty good, and it's too bad he didn't have that guy, that much sooner than Jamie, but
yeah.
So that does that. So you still need to tally it there?
I've got it. I'm good to go.
Okay. So yeah, next week we are sticking with Ace Frehley once again. As Luke kind of just alluded to, we have yet another compilation. This one is called Loaded Deck, and it's essentially the same kind of idea. Excuse me. It's a mixture of the studio stuff and live tracks, but this time it's a little more mixed up this time, instead of just here's the studio, here's the live stuff. And thankfully pretty much everything on this version is different from what we just did. So the only repeat we have is Rock Soldiers, except this time it's a live version of Rock Soldiers, so kind of different still technically. So that'll be coming up next week.
Also, for some reason, Fractured 2 and Fractured 3, but not Fractured Mirror.
Right. Well, then,
what?
The version I have on my computer, it comes with this. It says Deluxe Disc 2, which has 17 other tracks on it.
Huh.
But I'm not even sure if that's an official deluxe thing that came with it, or if it's just something that somebody threw together for this download. Because it's got, again, a mixture of studio and live, and then they even threw in that Dimebag Darrell version of Snowblind at the very end.
Hmm. Yeah, very interesting. Wikipedia doesn't say anything about a second disc. It does talk about a Japanese bonus 13th track, but that's
another Shock Me live track.
Yep.
Which thankfully we don't have, so no sense of doing another live version of Shock Me anyway.
Right.
All right, let's hear these final tallies.
Absolutely. Okay, so we did end up with a 5 out of 10, just a straight up 5.0 out of 10 average overall rating, which does put this up fairly high in the thing. Yeah, boy, that's just about the first time we've just had a straight number instead of a, number point number. So that's kind of cool that it ended up with an average like that. In 12th place, by more than a little, nobody will be surprised, Deuce.
I said it with you because I knew.
That's probably the only time that song will ever be ranked that low is in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Also pretty far below everything else in 11th place, Hide Your Heart. The only person who rated that one high actually was Rochelle. Actually, real quick, I forgot to mention Steve McGowan's top 3 was Into the Night, Shock Me Live, and Trouble Walkin'. And then Rochelle's top 3 were Into the Night, Hide Your Heart, and Trouble Walkin'. So in 10th place, we got Cold Gin. In 9th place, Insane. In 8th place, Rip It Out. In 7th place, Breakout. 6th place, Rocket Ride. In 5th place, Words Are Not Enough. 4th place, Shock Me. And our top 3 for this week, Rock Soldiers in 3rd place. In 2nd place, Trouble Walkin'. And in 1st place, Into the Night. So thanks,
Wow.
special thanks to Javier there for breaking the tie for 1st place.
It's crazy that Shock Me and Rocket Ride are not in the top 3, either one.
Right.
That just goes to show that in this structure, being a solo per se, those other songs are just that much more popular.
Absolutely.
You know what would be hilarious is if like we took all the songs and then we played charades with them. That would be so much fun.
We should.
Just charade.
All right. Well.
How do you like at the end of that album the fake audience clapping? I'm pretty sure that same clap track is on Guitar.
Yeah.
Is on what?
Guitar Hero. I have Guitar Hero 2 on the PlayStation 2, and I'm pretty sure that same one is on that.
Let's see. Yeah. So again, next week is the loaded deck. I'm looking at the tracks. I'm not sure. Let's see. Because the first track is called 1+1, and it was written by Anton Fig and Phil Galton, but I don't recall. So I'm almost thinking that's like a new track.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Right.
And then there's another one called "Give It to Me Anyway," which I don't recognize either.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Wikipedia says Richie Scarlett sings that one, and I don't recall having heard his lead vocals anywhere.
Mm-mm.
So it sounds like those may be 2 new tracks for this. And then again, we have just a different mixture of some other studio stuff and live stuff. So I kind of am looking forward to hearing it, to be honest. I don't know how much of that stuff's going to be Jamie versus Anton or what. It might be Anton on the live stuff. I don't know.
Let's hope.
That would be awesome.
Or it could be stuff from the Just for Fun tour, which that drummer was pretty good too. So I guess we'll find out.
Right.
I think just
right. Yeah, Wikipedia doesn't mention.
Yeah, I think just about anything's going to be better than Jamie. Like he's the lord of drummers.
Well, it looks like Javier's still the only one we have in here, so he'll be the only one to hear this announcement right now. But hopefully, if anyone's watching after the fact, you'll hear this. Plus, we'll be sure to post plenty about it online, and you'll see a lot of changes. But, so as we said, next week we are doing the Ace Frehley loaded deck, and then after that, we have decided to go ahead and kind of pump the brakes on the whole Second Coming thing. Believe me, there's still plenty to do on the list and a lot of stuff that we are wanting to get to at some point, but listening to you guys, and we just felt like the time's right, and we've talked about it for a while. We decided it's time to go ahead and take a break and go back to what we started and what we started with, and that's the main Kiss discography. Um, so
Hello,
bring it.
Black.
Huh?
I said, hello, Black Dragon.
Oh, hey, how are you? Um, so yeah, we had talked about it for a while, like eventually coming back, and a lot of you guys have kind of asked here and there. Hey, we appreciate you guys sticking with us on this second coming stuff. Some of it's been fun, some of it has been painful, um, but we just feel like now's the right time. Let's pump the brakes. Let's bring it back to the original Kiss discography. I know Savannah never had the chance to do those albums with us, and she always mentioned how she wished she could have. So now she has the opportunity. Plus, again, a lot of you guys. Hopefully, we can get a bunch of you on here with us again, like we used to discuss these albums again. So yeah, we're gonna just change everything back up. You're gonna see a different border here. That you see, we'll change that back up. We'll you know you'll see some different things on the page and everything, um, as far as names and whatnot. So what's this? We are. What is up? Black Dragon YT. This is a Kiss podcast. Well, Javier, don't get me wrong. We are going to come back and do Live to Win at some point when it gets, again, we're talking who knows how long now with the way we're doing it. Because, like I said, trust me, there's some stuff in there that we definitely were like excited to get to and hear. Live to Win being one of them for me. There's things that I wasn't that excited to hear that we would have done, but that's just been the nature of the show. So, I mean, believe me, we're at some point once we once again get through with the Kiss discography, we'll go back and kind of pick up where we left off on the list with this stuff. We wanted to, like I said, I know it's been rough at times for a lot of you guys, and we want to bring back more of the viewership and the interaction and stuff, and we felt like we've kind of lost a lot of that stuff. So
I don't Javier like Live to Win.
He doesn't like it. So what do you guys have to say about it?
That's
I'm
surprising.
glad.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back into the main discography and not worrying every week about whether the album we're listening to is going to suck. Looking forward to being more positive more commonly, and looking forward to changing it up because we're not going to do it quite the way we did it last time. It'll be more similar to the way we're doing the Second Coming stuff than how we did this the first time. So, and I'm looking forward to more votes. That's, I think, the biggest thing is we'd like to get more people to give us full lists of, every song on the album ranked, just like we do. We'll include the full rankings. I know not a lot of people have been doing that with this Second Coming stuff because not a lot of people have heard these records.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely noticed that right from the get-go back when we started the Second Coming, that there was a big change in how much interaction but we thought, hey, we understand some of this stuff's a little weird at first, and there are some good stuff, good albums coming, but even the ones that I felt may have been the best so far still probably didn't attract as much attention as pretty much anything on the Kiss discography that we've done.
Right.
Yeah, like Luke mentioned, we are going to change it up a bit. Back when we did it the first time, we would just we would literally pick our own, say top 10. If there's 10 tracks, we'd, my number one is this, mine, instead of. But now, how we've been doing the Second Coming, where we just literally go track by track, and then say, what we rank. So that way you don't get a lot of the same, talk and everything about the same tracks, or well, my number 2, because some tracks, it's pretty much going to be everyone's, last rank per se. So, you just don't
What would
want
be cool to do too this time around is when, because I've never done, the Kiss discography like with you guys before, but it would be cool if this time around, we do it like we've been doing the Second Coming, but we also like we pinpoint like maybe one or two favorite moments from the album that really stuck out and really, you know what I mean? Like you pick just a couple of things about it that you were like this moment, you know what I mean? On this
to. Yeah.
album is what really love this album, you know what I mean? It just like that would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then of course with Luke and I and everyone that participated in the past, um, kind of interested to see how close we rank everything now versus what we did back then. That's another thing because
Yeah.
Right.
I know with me it's like certain songs I gravitate to a bit more than what I might have back then, and
Yeah.
vice versa. So it's just it's just gonna be fun and interesting, and we definitely we're planning on pumping this up pretty hard to try to really spread the word and spread it across all the Kiss pages that we can, and all you guys that always tune in. If you guys can spread the word, and we want to make this thing bigger, and get our YouTube channel growing a little bit more. It's been kind of sitting steady there for the last, I don't know, year or so. So we kind of want to get it, some more activity going on that too. So, really excited. So hopefully, you guys that watch this after the fact that we're live here, hopefully you guys are excited to hear that as well. Again, we'll be posting a lot more about it on the Facebook page, and changing up some graphics and everything else, and giving more updates. So, but like I say, that's basically 2 weeks from now. So we are going to finish up, again with the Ace Frehley Loaded Deck compilation next week, which will kind of be the final Second Coming episode for at least a long time. So, still, come join us for that as always, and it should be a fun listen. I'm kind of looking forward to it, to be honest. But so we'll see what happens. So,
Yeah. Me and Luke actually went through and we printed all the songs off and I cut them up and put them into like this fishbowl that we have, and I kind of tested Luke on his like kind of like what we're doing with these
what's the
the
greatest
poll.
song?
Yeah, where I would pick two and then he would choose between them, and then it got all the way down. We did it twice, and his number one in the first round was what was it was Unholy, I think, and then in the second round it was I Was Made for Loving You, I think, is what
Yep.
beat everything last round. And it's crazy how it's like, what was it?
Who Wants to Be Lonely?
Oh, that's right. It was Who Wants to Be Lonely. Okay. But it was funny like how it changes like depending on which one, because it's just a random, I stick my hand, I swirl it around, I pick random songs. Like it's cool to see how it turns out each time with the choices and stuff. It's kind of see how it lays out.
Yeah, he was telling us about that last Sunday, and I was like, man, that would be fun to sit and do, and get together
Yes,
and
it
do
is.
that.
Really,
Get together, do that, and play some Cards Against Humanity or something.
yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and I don't know if you guys saw Javier's comment just there. He says he posts each episode that we do in the Kiss Army Omaha Facebook page that a friend of him runs. Thanks, Javier. We really do appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So if you can't hear, I'm opening the package that Javier sent. For some reason, it's ticking.
Oh.
It's a bomb.
Oh, no.
And it's just got Gene's face on it.
Just so you know, Javier, I may reuse this box to send your stuff. So, Javier and I had been talking for, we set up a trade for about 15 years ago. And Yeah, just trading some Kiss, some good old Kiss shows on CD and whatnot. So we finally have started making the process of getting this thing done. He sent mine out. They obviously just arrived today. There, I finally got it out, and then I'm dropping it
Javier
over.
said Eli is opening my package.
Yeah, you probably missed it earlier, but I said for some reason your package is big and white.
And now you're opening to reveal.
Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah, so I mean, we just have. I don't even remember what all stuff I had picked from him, but these are all live shows. Dynasty Tour, Psycho Circus Tour. What do we have here? Convention Tour. Oh, this is one of those back when they had Peter, when they did the Convention Tour stuff. Lick It Up Tour, Vinnie Vincent's last show. King Biscuit Alive from Cleveland. Nice. Rock the Nation Tour. Yeah, all kinds of goodies.
Nice.
I'm gonna
That's
have,
gonna be sweet.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have plenty of listening to do in the car and at home.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I've got all yours here, ready to go too, and then some. Hell yes. Your package was hard to open, man.
Yeah, your package is hard.
All right, guys. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are busy today getting ready for the holiday. No problem with that. Hopefully, you guys check us out at a later date.
Yeah. So special thanks to Javier, then, the only one that was with us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that, man.
And I got to hold his package.
Absolutely,
right.
Yeah.
You got to handle his package. There's a difference.
There you go, yeah. I will like the last 10 or so CDs in the stack. Let's see. Are they like home videos of you, Javier, or something?
It's him making his package.
Let's see. What do we got? Kiss Alive 40, disc 4, 5. What the hell?
Did you guys see the Kiss firework that is out? No, I have not seen that. I want to see that.
I saw you posted that, Javier, and I was looking online, seeing if I could find it. Dude,
Is it
what
called
is
the
this?
Sonic Boom?
No. So Javier, what are these? It says Kiss Alive 40, but there's like, what, 6 or 7 or 8 discs of it. So what is it? Yeah, I saw Javier posted that Kiss firework, and I immediately went online to see if maybe I could find somewhere that was selling it, somewhere local around here. Those CDs are a box set. Okay. I'm guessing a collection of live stuff all through the years. Very cool.
It would be really cool if that firework, when you set it off, like their faces exploded in the sky.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
That would be so cool.
You know, there's going to be somebody out there that buys one and never sets it off and just keeps it as a collectible.
Yeah.
Fire and blows up their entire house. Because that would be
It's made by Sky Bacon Fireworks, and they're all pigs on the box. That's amazing.
Sky Bacon.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, his girlfriend is picking it up in an hour. Nice.
Awesome.
Dude, I might have to listen to that group of CDs first, Javier. See what all's on there. That's awesome. I was actually just looking for something similar to that, like a live compilation of stuff that isn't Alive and Alive 2. All the stuff that we always hear. Yeah, pretty cool.
Definitely.
So.
Oh, hey, I just thought of another thing that's interesting to just throw out there. I don't know if anybody outside of this will ever hear this, but we're about to embark on a rather interesting quest to play every single Kiss song.
Yes. Unfortunately, Harry's not here.
That's going to be interesting.
Javier, he's going to take the wrapping off and apply it to an. That's a good idea. To an empty box, yeah.
There you go.
It's a good way to save it.
Definitely.
Yeah, as we've mentioned a few times, Luke and I and his dad and Harry, which is usually in here chatting, we all get together and just jam a bunch of Kiss songs, and we kind of made the decision that we might as well just start and go down the discography and play the whole entire albums till we have them all, because there's such a humongous list that we're playing anyway, and figured why not.
Right.
You guys should do a Kiss Meets the Practice.
Kiss Meets, that'd be cool.
I
think, what was it, last Sunday we were talking about how we want to like film it and stuff, just to kind of have it.
I think I'm going to bring my laptop and multi-track record everything. I mean, I don't know if any of it will be usable, but we'll have it all,
Oh, nice, Javier. Yeah, can't wait to hear all that. Yeah, I think I'll bring my video camera and set it up, record it. So who knows? Maybe we'll post a few clips on the podcast page and YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
What has anybody looked at the new double platinum stuff that came out? Has anybody, Javier, are you planning on buying any of that? Especially that $200.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but I've seen a lot of people posting about it in like the different Kiss groups and stuff. Mm-hmm. Posting like pictures and stuff of
it's so they're doing the double platinum picture disc, and each side is basically the inside pictures of the four that are on the gatefold. Well, they took those and put the face on the record, and then it's in the whole thing's in the color of that person's, like jeans red and all, and each side, and they're charging $200 just for that version. And I don't know why.
Wow.
The shirts and the sticker. Yeah, the shirt. I thought the shirts were pretty cool, and then the sticker. They got it's like a holographic sticker of the front cover, which is surprising.
I just thought about
pretty cool.
I just thought about when you were talking about their faces on it. I just thought about this when we went to Trader's World a few weeks ago. Me and Luke's brother Sam were in the one booth that has all of like the records and the CDs and the Kiss memorabilia and stuff. And we were looking through the CDs, and I came across a Dimmu Borgir CD, and I know that's completely off topic, but the CD was a skull, like in the shape of it. Wasn't a whole CD with a skull picture on it. It was a skull, the CD.
No, no
I was like, how do you even play that?
Huh.
like that has to be a decoration. Like that can not be like how without it. Like it was really weird. Like me and him were both like baffled. Like how, because like there was no cover on it. Like you could see the CD, and I'm like, how did they do that?
It's like the gimmick they used to do with records, or well, they still do sometimes, but like they'll have like shape discs and stuff. Like I know there's some Kiss ones out there. One that's shaped like the tank and everything. And, yeah, it's kind of cool how they always did that.
Hey, like if you put like how do you fit songs on that? Like
not very many, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheap plug. Yesterday and Today Music. If anyone is in the Monroe, Ohio area, and you go to Trader's World, look for the guy. He's in the outside booth. Tons of Kiss stuff in there. He's a big Kiss and Beatles fan. Tons of Kiss and Beatles stuff. A lot of cool records and all kinds of stuff.
He had these really giant like busts, and they were so cool. I was like, God, I would love to have those. Like, those are so awesome.
Oh, I know. The one time I was there, he gave me a price on them, and I was like so tempted to try to walk out with them, but I was told no. Yeah. So, but like Javier, like
I think
you especially, if you ever had the chance to come this way, like you would probably get a kick out of that dude's store and all the stuff he has. If you wanted to,
yes.
I don't know how far Omaha, Nebraska is from here, but. Have you thought about doing reviews of bootlegs, books, or DVDs instead of doing just albums each week? We haven't specifically discussed it, but it's things that have crossed my mind at times. But man,
books would be hard. We've all read them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And the DVDs.
The rest of the stuff would be okay.
Like DVDs, as far as like I guess official releases wouldn't be as hard, but like getting into bootlegs and stuff, that's just like, oh my god, it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah, the list of stuff.
Yeah, whether it's bootleg or video or
that
audio.
Right. Yeah, that and it would be difficult to get people in on it too. I mean, we could listen to them and rank them and talk about them, but it'd be a lot like the Second Coming stuff. We probably wouldn't get a whole lot of response.
Yeah, that is true. It almost had to be like some little like I don't know private treehouse group that we all just discuss them amongst ourselves or something. I don't know.
Right.
Can we call it the Treehouse of Kistery?
Well, we do need a name to bring back the original 4K or whatever we're calling it again. So we need a
the Treehouse of History.
All right. Let's see. Omaha's 11 hours.
Maybe we'll add a fifth K.
There you go. Omaha's 11 hours. Oh, that's nothing. That's a day trip for you, Javier.
Exactly. We did 3 14-hour trips in a row one way.
And then back.
You can crash at Luke and Savannah's house.
There you go.
Yeah. Of course, I mean,
if you get here before December, you won't have to deal with the screaming child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing, Javier,
Trader's World is closed in December.
Yeah, that is true. Javier, you posted a teaser picture of your room the other day with your merchandise. You know you're going to have to like film a whole video going through that now because you can't just leave us hanging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make a video, send it to us. We'll show it on the podcast, and then have you on to talk about it. We'll pick your brain and get to talking about it.
Absolutely. And the good news is we've already gotten some of it out of the way because Eli's already picked your package.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Peter Chris says you matter to me.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It's coming. All right, guys. We're going to wrap this thing up. Wow. Cool. So, stand by for the updates. Javier, thanks for stopping by, brother. Thanks again for the package. Again, I will get yours in the mail Monday. I will be updating you with tracking as well. Once my basement is done being remodeled, that stuff will be getting unboxed. Well, hurry up, man. Hurry up. So,
awesome.
I hope everyone has a great and safe 4th holiday. So, Javier, update us on the Kiss firework when you get it. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I want to see it.
All right,
Definitely.
guys. We're going to get out of here then. We'll see you again next week is Loaded Deck. And then after that, the big changes happen. So please spread the word. And again, we will be doing our part as well. All right, everybody. Take care. Be safe. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Don't blow any fingers. I don't plan to.
I do what I want.
He blows fingers and other things too.
I have no comment.
Right.